The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. By the words of the gospel, may our sins be wiped away. Well, today's message comes to you by the city of New Orleans. Went to Mass at the cathedral on Tuesday, and it was the exact same reading, and I'm going to start by saying the exact same thing that priest said that day. I'm going to go in a slightly different direction, though. So I'm not copying him completely, copying like 20% of him. So he said that day, and he was perfectly accurate in doing so, giving thanks. You got 10 lepers. One of them had the decency to come back to Jesus and say thank you. And this is exactly what coming to Mass is all about. Because we call it the Mass, and that's more or less a nickname. If you want to get the formal, churchy term for it down, we are not coming to Mass, we are coming to celebrate the liturgy of the Eucharist. That's the formal term for why we're here in church, the liturgy of the Eucharist. And I won't embarrass any of you, but I know a lot of you know the answer. What exactly does the word Eucharist mean? Thanksgiving. Exactly. When we come to Mass, we do so because we are giving thanks to God. That's why as Catholics, we celebrate Mass for like anything. You know, other people make fun of us, like, oh, if you're a Catholic, you just say Mass forever. Well, yeah, we celebrate Mass on Sunday, and at funerals, and weddings, and baptisms, and quinceañeras, and maybe birthdays, and family reunions, because there's not really a point in life where it's inappropriate to say thank you to God. Saying thanks to God, giving thanks to God is something that we should be doing as often as we can, because giving thanks to God is one of the best things we can possibly do with our time. And of course, we're not supposed to do that alone. We're supposed to do that together whenever possible. In the gospel reading, there are 10 lepers, 10% of them give thanks. And as you know, a lot of people don't come to church. A lot of people don't understand who Jesus is. And people who are Catholic and who are raised Catholic and should know better, a lot of them don't come to Mass nearly as often as they should. We're not quite at the norm of 10% coming to church. We're not quite there yet. But the reason that's always been the case, only 10% of people giving thanks, is because giving thanks and being thankful, frankly, that's a learned skill. We have to learn to be thankful. So adults, feel free to raise your hands. We have a good chunk of kids today. Adults, if you had to do this when you were a kid, raise your hand. Kids, if you have to do this now, raise your hand. How many of you, after receiving a gift from someone not in your household, how many of you are forced by your mom or dad to write a thank you note? Yeah, I always chuckle a little bit when I get thank you notes from my 3-year-old nephews in perfect handwriting. like, thank you, Ashley, my sister, for the thank you note on behalf of your kids. That's very sweet. We have to learn how to be thankful. It does not come particularly naturally to us. Just because I feel like it, I'm going to ask you another question. Again, you don't have to raise your hands if you don't want to. How many of you have someone in your life, either a family member, a friend, or more likely an ex-friend, how many of you have someone in your life that never says thank you ever? Yeah, those people are hard to get along with, right? So the person I'm thinking of, I've known him since high school. He never says thank you. He is never grateful for anything, which is ironic because he needs a lot of help. Giving thanks is not easy for some people. I just finished a book about addiction. It's called Addict in the Family. And one thing they say in Alcoholics Anonymous is, beware of people who are addicted in your life. Addicted people, addicts, do not form relationships. They take hostages. Because when the drug you're addicted to is literally the most important thing in your life, being grateful to other people, forming helpful relationships, that doesn't matter. Like just getting your next fix, that is what matters. And the reason I bring that up is it emphasizes the fact that when you are thankful, you are building healthy relationships because you show thanks to a person. You write thank you notes to grandma and to your next door neighbor or your friend and God, because God is in fact a person. God is capable of receiving your thanks. So it's forming healthy relationships. And I think there are a lot of not bad arguments, but shallow arguments for the importance of Thanksgiving. I could see your grandma saying, you need to be thankful because to not be thankful is to be rude, and you don't want to be rude. That's not a wrong argument. That's not bad. It's just a little shallow. Here's the real core argument for why you're supposed to be thankful. When you are unthankful, you are blind to reality. When you refuse to be thankful, you're just ignoring someone or something that has done something for you, that other positive things are happening all around you. People who are not thankful are unaware of all the things happening around them that affects them. Again, that guy I know from high school, that's exactly him. He is so lost in his own actions and his own life. He doesn't understand, as far as I can tell, he doesn't seem to understand that other people have their own issues and struggles and problems, and that it's not always about him. He doesn't understand reality all that well. And maybe I'm wrong, I'm not psychic after all, but this is definitely the way he presents himself to me and the others. When we are thankful, when we take time to give thanks, we are taking time to realize, hey, Grandma spent 3 hours baking that pie. Mom spent all Thanksgiving Day in the kitchen for us. You are realizing that there is more going on than what is happening with you. And of course, we can apply that exact same logic to God. We can be thankful for the gift of life, family, the day, whatever it is we're celebrating, or the strength to get us through the bad times. So, Thanksgiving, it's not technically a Catholic holiday. It's a national holiday. But everything we do as Catholics has an element of thanksgiving, because that is exactly what the Eucharist is. Because the core of our faith is to love God and trust in God and be thankful to God. So keep that in mind for the rest of the day. Today is a day of thanksgiving. Today is a day of Eucharist.